have been digging into this compost, and unfortunately, it is not frozen solid. So there's the compost bins. We've got a decent day. So I want to be able to go back and forth with the compost and go into this greenhouse. First, pull out all of the dead cucumber vines and everything in this bed here, and just yank it out and get some compost in here. I've already got compost in this bed before I planted the lettuces and baby greens here. The mustard greens are still doing nice, but quite a while ago the lettuces just mildewed and I haven't gotten anything off of them for a while. But the baby chard and the baby spinach are both doing really nice still. Oh, let's see. This is going to be a pain in the butt with gloves on. Oh man, I wish I had done this before these guys had gotten all mildewy and gross. I need to take the clips off. I think that's how I want to do it, right? Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, I probably should do it from the bottom up. Oh my goodness. I haven't been doing much gardening stuff this week. I've been a little bit kind of nervous, anxious, thinking about next year, all the things I've got to do to get ready for next season, and then just thinking about all the work that next season is going to be since I want to do more, sell more. But so what I did was I made a list of things that I needed to get done, and I'll probably add to it. I ended up leaving the things that I had have finished from last season. I just crossed them out so that I ended up with some sort of lung infection from this, right? Okay, this is the last buddy here. That's how I'm going to handle this. Yeah, so I made that list and left the things that I had finished with strikeouts on them so that I would feel good about all the things that I had gotten done. Oh my goodness. Come on, buddy. Oh, God. Oh, this is going to be gross. Yuck, man. Gross. Anyway, so I got that done. And then I've also been, since, you know, this whole COVID thing and people aren't able to meet, we were supposed to have a farmers conference, a Southeast Alaska Farmers Conference in February, and I was asked to speak as kind of like a newbie farmer person, but they decided to postpone that until next year. So we've decided to do a little informal talk via Zoom, and since I've never used Zoom before, I have been kind of like downloading the things on my computer so that I can do that. So we'll see how that goes. That's going to be this Sunday night. We're going to have a little talk from 6:30 to 8:30. So if I could figure it out, I'll videotape my portion of it and share that with you guys. so I've got my first load of compost. I just need to move the drip line and dig a hole, throw it in, put some soil on top of it, and just move on down the bed. Hey folks, so it's almost dark. It's only 4 o'clock, but that's the way it is this time of year. I only got a little less than half the bed done. So I'm gonna go in, grab a snack, and grab my headlamp, and come back and finish. Okie dokie folks, so I got the compost in, soil on top, and then I just threw the drip line on there. This will probably be baby greens in the early spring, and then this is going to be the next rotation of basil into this greenhouse. Oh, you'd think that it was like midnight or something, but actually it's only 6:30 in the evening. But here's my compost pile, and I only used half of him. So that's cool that I have some left, but I'm really glad that I got that out of there before it froze solid, because we're supposed to be getting down into the 20s Fahrenheit. Oakley dokley. I'm in Wrangell, and I have a tiny, like little 40-foot by 50-foot market garden. And I used to have a little tiny organic produce and grocery store, which I ship things in, and so I've continued with that name. It's called Ivy Patch Produce. And so we bought property recently, and so the last 3 years I've been just trying to grow my garden bigger and bigger. So I'm just gonna go to the questions that you guys asked us to kind of talk about. And so we could talk about whether our sales were better last year or this year. Last year I only made $500, mostly selling like basil to like a little store and restaurant. So, but I almost made $3,000 this year, focusing mostly on like centering around a salad mix, you know, plus carrots and cucumbers and radishes and things like that, and plus basil, and selling this year direct to individual customers because of COVID, and also to a couple of restaurants. So actually things got better for me, but only because I've gotten kind of bigger, not because there's a difference in the year really. Second question was, do we have any breakthroughs or epiphanies? And one thing that was really interesting for me is I thought it was going to take about 3 years or so to build my crappy soil. And I thought it was just going to take a while before I could have a really nice crop of stuff. But it turns out that, you know, I've collected a bunch of seaweed. Even if it's not fully composted, if I throw it out there, I can grow some really nice kale and chard and things like that. So that has been great. I feel like I'm way ahead of things now because of that. Third question was biggest challenges this year, and I would have to say too, yeah, the rainy weather was just crazy. But my biggest challenges, one of them was, well, there's a bunch of them, but one of them was I started making soil blocks this year for transplants. This is the first time I've ever done it because I didn't have enough plastic containers, and so getting those ready to get my transplants seeded and then ready to go out in time was hard. A place to make the soil blocks and to get them ready on time. And so I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do this coming season. But and the other thing was, because I went to direct sales, I didn't really have it set up so that I could easily take orders and respond to people. So I was just putting it out on Facebook, getting Facebook messaging, getting emails in. It was super cumbersome and time consuming. So I need to fix that next year. But that was a kind of a big challenge. And the last question was, how did COVID affect business, better or worse? It actually did better for me because, you know, I had always planned to just go ahead and sell to a little store in town and to sell to restaurants. And, you know, then you have to kind of cut your price so that they can do a markup. So I was, you know, doing that, and also was always a little concerned about quality and if things were looking good at the store. And so this year, COVID happened, everything got shut down. I thought I had better figure this out. So I decided I'm going to just do direct sales this year. I've got to figure this out. And it turns out, you know, I thought it was going to be way more complicated than it was. I actually drove stuff to people's individual houses and was able to have my full price. And I was able to do it. And so actually I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and do that and have a little bit more control over my stuff. And so, yeah, this year went actually better despite COVID. And that's it.